All right, Ryan, you are my last paper for this round, so congratulations. You are running the last leg of the race here. So let's look at MLA citation first. So this is good. This is good, except you don't need a comma right there. I'm not a huge fan of that title. I don't think it really gets to the heart of what your theme is about. So I think there's definitely about regrets, but I think it's more about him failing as a leader. So is there some kind of creative title that could go into that? Not sure. One thing, I've looked through your whole paper, and there's one thing that you do really, really well, Ryan, and you're going to make a college professor very happy someday, and that is you add in all of the outside sources that you can. That shows me that you know it was outside source and that you are making sure that I know that it was an outside source, and that is going to be awesome. I'm telling you, you're going to be way ahead of your peers when it comes to that. So keep that up as you go to Saginaw Valley, and know that anytime you use something that's not your writing, you got to tell me where you got it from. Your introduction is actually really good. You're actually one of the few people that said both the author and the play title in the introduction at the same time, so that's awesome. The one thing that I would say, and you have plenty of space, so it's not like you were trying to elongate it for this reason, I think you need to get to your main points faster. Like, you meander a lot leading up to your thesis statement. Like, this is basically all your main points in here. I would just say he starts to have symptoms. These symptoms include things like this, and this, and maybe you could elongate them more than just that. But I feel when you add all of the stuff in here, it almost gets lost what you're trying to talk about, and so it's not maybe as effective because of that. And even some of these sentences, like I had to reread this one a couple of times. Along with guilt and remorse, he began to become fearful of people, finding out that he had done the crime, not Malcolm. So like this would be better placed that he, not Malcolm and Donalbain, had done the crime, and he also becomes easily frightened or distracted, and that's such a tack on to the end of the sentence. Like, I would either make it its own sentence or get rid of it or something. So I feel like it's just way too wordy. Just get to the point and move on. Your thesis is good, although I would argue that you don't do enough analysis in the paper to lead into that thesis, and I'll show you what I mean when we get to some of your body paragraphs. But it's a really good start for the most part. And there are some punctuation errors, mostly after the introduction, that I'll try to point out to you as we get moving. All right. Nearly with every single one of your paragraphs, you need a much stronger topic sentence. Your topic sentence is going to have to do with Macbeth. And the first time you mention him is in this sentence right here, but this isn't a topic sentence. Like, basically you have to say, Macbeth had this symptom which caused him to do what? And that's what we need to see a little bit more of with your topic sentences, because you you do a really great job of the outside sources and really setting it up, but not so great a job of setting up that topic sentence. So you say, you're going to use this re-experiencing with flashbacks and sleep, and you primarily focus on sleep. So do you really need to talk about flashbacks? If you're just really focusing on, you talk about the flashbacks of murdering Duncan, the guards waking and hearing him, which is fine. We talked about this, I think, in class. But you don't have any, like, I would love to see maybe a quote maybe to back that up along with this quote. But because of this, he was worried that people would not think the murder was perfect. He could not sleep at night, knowing someone could do the same thing to them as he slept, which we got over. Now, this is basically your only sentence that you're trying to tie it back into the thesis. He had trouble sleeping, and it began to make him anxious of what would happen. But when we go back to your thesis, though, one of the things that you talk about is that he's anxious, which causes him to fail as a leader. What I would love to see you do more of is go into that last part of the thesis. How is his lack of sleep making him fail as a leader? How is his flashbacks making him fail as a leader? because you do a good job of saying it makes him anxious, which I understand, but I don't see that second part of that thesis statement in there. So really go back and try to tie that in, because I think this one works really well, because later on Lady Macbeth mentions that he's not sleeping well, and that's right after he has this whole thing with the ghost. So I think that's a great place to put that in even. You have really good transition statements until we get to one body paragraph, and we'll talk about that one real quick. But you have really good transition statements after all of this. You, again, need some better topic sentences. Oh, hold on, one quick. Here's another thing with word choice. Start, starts, started, started. Oops, okay. Started. You notice a pattern? Think of different ways to say this. You use that a lot in there. Is that concept of starting, okay? All right, here's another start there. Now, I am going to call you on this, okay? He had started to second guess, just don't say had. He started to second guess due to the fact, no comma, that Duncan had granted him so many things before assassinating him. This is the part that I don't agree with. You got to show me a quote from the story to back this up. He started to wonder what would happen if he had not murdered Duncan, because he does not know if he would have been king of Scotland. Now, right after he murders Duncan, he does say, you know, to know my deed to her best not know myself. Like, he can't believe he did what he just did. You know, wake Duncan with thy knocking, I wish thou couldst. But I don't think he ever questions about what would happen if he didn't become king of Scotland. So I don't know if that's necessarily true. Now, here's another example. He starts to become anxious about the way he has become the king. Okay? So that doesn't really add anything other than just telling me he's anxious. Here's the transition. It would be a great transition if all this information was in your next paragraph. But this transition is actually for your... is it this one? Nope. It's your next paragraph, because you talk about the woods were moving towards the castle. So this one's actually for the next paragraph. So I don't know if you flip-flop the order at one time or what, but go back and that's an easy fix, but you got to go back and fix it. So again, stronger topic sentence in here. Here's another good paragraph for word choice. Many are veterans that were in the war, blah, 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 but the events that happened to them at war. So, you know, think of a different way to say that. So your started word was popular in the one paragraph. Became, becoming, okay? And read this sentence. Next in line for becoming the throne after Macbeth's death. I mean, I know what you mean, but you wanted to say king, but I think you just synonymed it and tried to do something different. I don't know. Another one where this is really the only thing that is close to tying into the thesis. He becomes anxious. Too much plot in this one, really, for my liking. And I don't know what complete mind devastation is either. It's not really clear. I get angry outbursts finally. And fearful, but I feel like there's like three different things going on here. You have timid, you have mind devastation, you have outbursts, you have fearful. I don't know. Just figure out exactly where this paragraph is going to go. Less plot, more tying into the whole idea of how it makes him feel. I like sullen. That's a really great word. He became sullen. This has caused him to overthink everything, caused him to develop severe emotional stress. And then we get into the emotional distress paragraph. This is the one. This is probably your best topic sentence. Macbeth began having severe emotional distress after he slaughtered Duncan because of his guilty remorse. I think that's your best topic sentence, and actually a pretty good example of what all your other ones should look like as well. Here's another one. You spend way too much time explaining plot, and you finally, I mean, I don't know if you ever tie the thesis into this paragraph, Ryan, of that, you know, what you're trying to prove. I think there needs to be a stronger connection there, but way too much plot. I think you can kind of summarize. And I don't think this is, you got a space issue here. I don't think this is the best quote. There's a space issue there too. I don't think this is the best quote to talk about the ghost either. got too many spaces there. So I think there's definitely different ways that you can present this topic without doing what you're doing. All right. I'm not sure if this is what you meant to do, but you're introducing new information in here, which you can't do in a conclusion. They have, symptoms for years before it goes away. I get the re-experience. It's kind of tied into the body. I mean, this one kind of is tied into the body, but it seems like it's new information. We did talk about timid person, not want to do many things. So anyways, causing them to change not only as a person, but as a friend or lover. So good outside sources. Now here's a big problem. If you, remember you can't use you, this is third person, ever experiences or reach out to a friend to let someone help. A friend once told me, remember you can't use me, and I don't think your friend told you this since you got this quote from Sports Quotes, and I'm pretty sure whoever the athlete that said this didn't really say it to you. So you got to change that ending, a really weak ending. Your works cited page is absolutely marvelous. It's awesome. Good job with that. So Ryan, you do a lot of things really well, but we really got to work on stronger topic sentences and stronger tying it into the thesis. So Ryan, as a last paper, that wasn't a bad one to end on. So hopefully we'll see a rewrite. You can clean up some of those things and make it that much better.